You're fat, you're stuck, and you're unhappy. And you've probably been feeling like this for a while. You probably tried different diets, you probably tried different methods, different workouts that you saw online. You've got a whole load of saved workouts. And you get motivation, but it fades, it never ever sticks. And you always find yourself starting over and over again. Look, I completely understand. You know, the funniest thing is, the statistics are exactly in favour of everything I've just mentioned. The amount of people that have gym memberships that don't go, the amount of people that start something and don't finish, the amount of people that are stuck and not progressing is overwhelming. It's alarming, in fact, if you do the research yourself. It's not that hard to get access to that data. But I'm going to give you 2 practical things that you can take away from this video that will completely change it. That will allow you to see progress that you haven't been able to see in the last couple of months to years. And the reason why I can be so confident, like why me, or thinking, how can you help me? Well, I've been a coach for practically my whole life, but specifically, I've been a fat loss coach for more than 10 years, starting off in face-to-face and now obviously working more on a one-to-one basis. So I think I'm on the right lines. I've also, in the trenches, if you go into my Instagram, YouTube, you go and explore it, you can see I'm in the trenches. I'm doing the work that's necessary, so I'm living proof of it. I follow it as well. So I'm gonna give 2 practical tips that are gonna help you out and are gonna help you to reverse engineer it and see the progress you need to. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna share, and that's really impacted me, is building non-negotiables. At the moment, you're just working off emotion. Just depending on how you feel, your emotions are going to dictate what actions you take. If you're stressed, if you're anxious, if you're overwhelmed, you're not going to complete your workouts, you're not going to stick to your nutritional plan. So what you need to do is build some non-negotiables that regardless of how you feel, at a minimum you can hit those standards. At a minimum, regardless of what's going on. These are things that you live by and you do on a daily basis. So it could be really simple things. The ones I have for myself is completing or having movement as part of my everyday. So I get it done first thing, I do my press ups, I go for a target of 100, you can do 20, you can do 10. It's just the practical thing of doing something, sticking to something, getting comfortable with being consistent. Another thing you can add as part of that as well is just sticking to one high protein meal. You don't need every meal to be perfect, but just setting the basis of at least one high protein meal. A meal, if it could be 20 to 25 grams. And if you check out my other videos, I go into a bit more detail about that. And then another thing as well that you can add is just getting steps, just being active. Just being active on a daily basis, just being consistent. Having your phone linked to you or your smartwatch and just aiming for a target, setting targets and hitting them. So those are 3 simple non-negotiables you can have. Because at the moment, you're not setting no standards for yourself, you have no level of being consistent, you have no non-negotiables, and that's going to make a major difference by including it. Okay, and the second thing is going to address the fat part, how to lose body fat. Now, most of the time it's the case that you're overeating, and you're overeating because you're not tracking, you have no metric to understand how many calories you're having, because losing fat all centers around the calorie deficit. I know it's been said numerous times, but why aren't you not sticking to it? It's because you have no method, you have no system, you're not tracking, you're just mindlessly eating. Now with tracking, doesn't have to be forever, doesn't have to be life, you're not tied down to a contract, but especially in the early stages, it's really important that you understand the idea of calories and you track some sort of calories just to get a rough idea of how it works. So usually 3 to 5 days, start tracking your calories. Then you can start looking at including high protein foods as part of that as well. And then also just, you know, once you start tracking, you can get rid of the mindless eating. A lot of the time it comes out to watching YouTube videos, scrolling on YouTube mindlessly, just eating whatever's next to you, snacking, cravings, not really getting the right nutrients in. But if you start tracking and you start building around that and start building proper meals, it's like a stepping stone, right? You go from one to the next, and you just keep improving. But that all comes from sticking to it. So the second practical thing I'll give you if you want to lose fat is being in a calorie deficit. And that starts off by tracking, and that starts off by analysing your meals and seeing what's serving you and what potentially isn't. There you have it. Those are 2 practical ways that you can completely transform where you are now to get to where you need to and to really become unstuck with your fat loss, and just being unhappy, right? Because it all links and it all circles back. So just follow those two things and you'll be good. Like I said, firstly, just start off by building those non-negotiables, by being consistent, by building those habits. And then second, make sure to get your nutrition on board, because it all comes down to a calorie deficit. You need to create a system that allows you to be consistent with it, and that allows you to, work your way up towards a system and a method that works for you. And look, it happens. I've worked with numerous clients that, go through these processes. It's not forever. You may be stuck. You may be at this point right now. But the thing I want to share that's going to be most impactful for you is you can change it. And it comes down to you making the difference, you taking the actions, you doing the necessary steps. And the amazing thing is, I think that's so powerful, because when you have the power to change it and it comes down to you, then it's in your hands and you can make the impact. So let me leave you with that. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, share this video with a friend, and yeah, just comment your key takeaways. And I will see you very soon in the next video.